In today's show, Rory's return, a rehab success story, and COVID contingency. How would the club deal with an outbreak? Hi, I'm Mark Bickley and welcome to The Crows Show, brought to you by the all-new Pork Belly Deluxe Burger, only at Hungry Jack's. Also joining us, Belinda Sloan, who introduces us to a footballer's best friend.
I'd like you to all meet Duke. He's from the kennel of Crows Canine Companions who are so important in helping the players relax away from the footy field. So, who does Duke belong to? You'll find out a little later.
Thanks, Belinda. In a side that's light on for experience, the absence of Rory Laird for the first two games was certainly noticeable. And his showdown return underscored his importance to the team. A broken hand was expected to keep him out even longer. So, what contributed to his earlier recovery?
Crows have copped a huge blow with Rory Laird sidelined for 4 to 6 weeks with a hand injury.
Well, I hate being injured. It's one of my pet peeves. It was more so just frustrating because we just finished a pre-season of training and you actually get to the fun part, which is playing games, and I lasted a half and then I had to sit on the sidelines and rest a really swollen and sore hand.
Well, like on game day at AFL level, we're pretty lucky. Our sports docs have access to an ultrasound machine. So as soon as we knew, we took him down and our doctor was able to sort of effectively diagnose it almost definitively then and there. In terms of the prognosis, at this level, I mean, the guys typically will get back in 4 to 6 weeks, but obviously Lairdy did exceptionally well to come back sooner than that.
It was more so how I felt and how it was actually going to affect me and being able to play. So if it was actually going to be sore with what I did and some contacts, so I was lucky enough to get out there in about 4 weeks. When I started kicking and handballing, it actually felt okay, and it was more so on the top of my hand than inside my hand, so it sounds a bit weird because it's a break. It was actually able to handle the balls a little bit easier than I thought, and it was just going to be the contact part of it, which was really hard to sort of simulate because if I tested it too much I might do further damage. So it was just a bit of a balancing act in the end.
I suppose every athlete is different in rehab, and it is sort of multifaceted as to why some guys sort of do better than others. I think probably the first thing is Lairdy's pretty determined, has a really good sort of positive mindset. Obviously from our end, there's the sort of medical and high performance staff. We've got to make sure he's safe enough to play. So we had a bit of a criteria for that, and Lairdy was certainly very determined and able to push through that criteria.
Big pack, Houston Court going nowhere. Taken down by Laird, back in after that broken hand pre-season.
It actually felt really good in the games. I was pretty happy to be out there for that one, for the first one of the year. So yeah, it was great to get back out there and what a win it was.
A credit to all the fitness staff for getting Rory back so soon. Now, we all know of the enormous challenges AFL clubs have faced in dealing with COVID over the past 3 seasons. West Coast, for example, had 14 players unavailable for selection in round 2 after the virus swept through the club. They had to rely on 5 top-up players from outside the competition. So, what contingencies do the Crows have should the club suffer a similar fate?
The AFL contingency list is basically there to make sure that the game continues to go ahead. So the AFL brought this in, and what we've done is we've added players from our NGA aligned clubs in the SAMFL to make sure that if the day comes, and hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, that we have players to draw on to make sure the game goes ahead. Our NGA clubs, which is Glenelg, Central, Sturton, North, we've selected 4 players from each of those clubs. The rules are that we can only use 2 at any time from any club, so it doesn't disadvantage the local clubs too much. We can also draw on our 19-year-old NGA players that are aligned to our football club. So for it to come into effect, we have to get down to 30 players on our AFL list. We can then activate some players to train, but they can't play. When we get down to 28 or below, we can then activate players from our contingency list to play. We would have to prioritise our AFL listed players, which we would do anyway, but in the event that it gets to that point, we can use those players. What you do have, if you have access to some of the best players, obviously outside the AFL, so Tier 2 competitions, there's some great players out there and some players that have AFL experience as well. So just because we may need to access some of those guys, it won't mean the quality will drop because they've been there and done that before. But I think I'd like to focus on the Crows players. So Jay Boyle, who's one of our development players that's come through and he's really playing a great brand of footy. So he's one of our contingency players. We've got Nathan Freeman, who's come on board forward as our leadership player in the sample. So unfortunately he's injured at the moment. And Isaiah McKenzie's another player that we've listed. So there's a few players that I think could make an impact if and when the time comes.
Fingers crossed for the rest of the season. Stay with us. After the break, Belinda puts a face to the man in this Kelpie's life.
Away from the pressures and daily routine of AFL, many Crows players choose to unwind with their pets. And that's helped Brodie Smith forge a close bond with his 2-year-old Kelpie, Duke. Brodie, tell us a little bit about your 4-legged mate here.
Yeah, Duke. He's a Kelpie cross collie.
Oh, he's a bit noisy.
I got him a couple of years ago. Chelsea Randall actually has his brother, so he gets to go on play dates with his brother, which is quite nice.
Handy.
But he's definitely a handful, that's for sure.
And they say dogs are often like their owners. Any similarities between yourself and Duke?
Izzy would probably say yes. Go a bit crazy at home sometimes, but he's definitely a mummy's boy, and he's a real sook with Izzy. So
I think similarities there.
So yeah, she might again say that might be the same at home, but good boy.
How obedient would you say Duke is? Today he's been quite good.
He has been very good today, but I'd say he's a free spirit. He doesn't listen to us too much. He's got a few tricks that you know, sit, stay, turn around, play dead, a few of those. So we're pretty impressed with those. But he runs his own show. We ask him to do things, and he'll just go off and he'll tell us when it's time to leave the park. He'll tell us when it's time for dinner. So yeah, he definitely runs the house.
It's only one man to cover himself in glory. It's coming back. And got there.
A showdown win like no other last weekend. How amazing was it to captain that side?
Yeah, it was amazing. A real privilege to be able to captain, and then for myself being a South Australian, to captain a showdown was unbelievable. I think I've probably been to every one for the last 20 years. So an amazing night for myself and my family.
How did it feel to lead the boys into the first win of the season, let alone a showdown?
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I think after the, actually running out and giving that pre-game speech, there's not too much that changes out in the field. You just, play your role and try to lead the way, and I guess in a game like that, keep everyone calm and focused on the task ahead. I actually ran out next to Josh Rochelle, and the smile on his face was just unbelievable to see a young guy who was just blown away by what was happening. Gave me a pretty good perspective on just how good it is to be able to run out in that moment, and as captain it was a very special night.
The scenes at the Adelaide Oval.
Thanks, Belinda. Now, all of us have our special Crows memories, and for the current crop of players, we call them Whopper moments. Thanks to our friends at Hungry Jack's, Tom Duday reminisces this week with Lockie Murphy.
All right, we're here with Lockie Murphy to discuss his Whopper moment. How you feeling, Murph? You nervous? You all right?
I'm a bit nervous, yeah. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
No, that's all right. It's going to be a pretty hard-hitting interview. Start us off. What's your Whopper moment?
All right, I've got a couple. 2015 elimination final. I was a Collingwood fan growing up, but that moment when Tex kicked it inboard to Chook.
It's Jenkins and Hamling, decides no, I'll go to Cameron instead, and Cameron has taken the mark.
I remember that was
great day.
Yeah, that was one of the best kicks I've ever seen, and then that win was massive.
They keep their season alive. What an incredible season it has been for the Adelaide Crows.
And then the other one I reckon was Sloaney when he announced re-signing in 2018, round 17 against Geelong.
Vice captain's going to be staying with us for another 5 years, Paul.
He kicked that goal from 50, and I don't reckon I've been in a louder stadium.
Listen to the crowd. Don't they love the signing or the re-signing of Rory Sloan, and this will top it off.
Everyone went crazy when he ran out and then he kicked the goal and everyone got around him. Whereabouts were you when he kicked that?
I was about 25 metres away from him.
Yep.
I just got over to him. The whole team was there. I could get an elbow to the face, but yeah, and we got the chockies that night. It was one of the better wins. They're my Whopper moments.
Good work. No, thanks for joining us, mate. I'm glad we got to chat your Whopper moment.
Thanks, Tom.
Every time you attend an Adelaide Crows home game, you could score a free Whopper from Hungry Jack's. Simply download the Hungry Jack's app for your chance to win.
Still to come on the Crows Show, the numbers behind the game. Welcome back. The volume of statistics used to dissect games is overwhelming. Obviously, some are more important than others. So, with the help of Dr. Jones and partners, let's get a clearer picture of what numbers are provided to the coaches and how they help analyse a game.
Looks up, might go the journey from outside 50, goes long and turns the volume up to 11.
So with Champion Data, we get about 250 live stats into the coaches box.
Rowe, Himmelberg, it's a night for the big guys in front of the sticks. It was coming and coming.
The main role of the data on game day is just to basically support either the coach's view, so what they're seeing, or challenge it. So if they're not seeing something but the numbers are telling us, then we can then get that to challenge what their view is of the game and how the game's going. So we have some certain indicators that we track for ourselves and also some indicators for the opposition. So during game, one of the main things is not getting caught up in just the positives and minus of a stat. So, you know, if we're losing clearance by 2, that might necessarily not be the worst thing. You know, when we're losing contested ball, but it might be in a certain area of the ground and we're actually capitalising on another area of the grounds. We need to look at what we call win levels, so whether things are safe or whether they're becoming a danger for us, and how that changes throughout the game. So not reacting to 1 or 2 stats specifically.
It's back towards the wing, big ball to win. McEntee on the run, caught though, Duday, Frampton.
There's about 4 million data points per round of football, so that we collate. And we've got a data scientist, so he will churn through all that, then basically analysing what that means, how the trends of the game are going as well. So the players will receive a form after their game and they'll actually rate their own game in terms of our trademark. And the coaches will rate their game as well, and then we can combine the both indicators and see where the gaps are, or you know how they're seeing their game and how the coach is seeing their game, and then review accordingly to that. So it's not just necessarily about disposals, you know, how many kicks people are getting. It's about what role they play in the team that's really important for us.
Now, Adelaide is the only AFL club to have its own television and radio shows, so make sure you tune in to Sauce and Tomo every Sunday morning at 9 on Triple M.
This year, the Adelaide Crows are asking you to silence the siren. Head to ticketek.com.au to secure your seats and cheer the team as loud as you can.
This year, the club's major partner, Toyota, has another exclusive offer for Crows members. If you buy a new or Toyota certified vehicle, you can score $500 worth of Toyota genuine accessories, plus a special discount on fuel for the next 12 months. Former Crow Richard Douglas visited his local Toyota dealership to find out more.
Thanks, Bix. Here I am down at Toyota. Let's have a look at some Toyota genuine accessories on offer at the moment to Crows members. Let's go take a look.
So here we have our Toyota Genuine Bull Bar, tested with the design of the car. So we know that it fits, we know that it works to the best safety standards.
Can you attach a winch to this?
You can attach a winch to it, yeah, and it also comes in different colours as well.
I'm a keen camper and I've bogged myself once or twice, so a winch would definitely come in handy.
So here we have our Toyota Genuine Tow Bar. It is, again, designed with the car. You don't only have to get, obviously, your big bull bars and tow bars.
Sure.
You can get a bonnet protector as well, which would clip on like this. It's a really simple way to take care of your bonnet from all those chips and scratches that come up from the road.
you wouldn't really think of something like that, but I'm sure that would be great benefit. Obviously an area you lift up quite a bit.
For all our country drivers who are on rough roads, this will certainly help to protect the paintwork as well.
Whether you're buying a new Toyota or a Toyota certified vehicle and you're looking for accessories, Toyota Genuine Accessories have got you covered.
Thanks, Dougie. To cash in on the Toyota member offer, head to your local Toyota dealership and show your Adelaide Crows membership ID when purchasing a new or Toyota certified vehicle. If you'd like to learn more, email membership@afc.com.au. You can't imagine waiting nearly a whole lifetime for a premiership. That's been the fate of my old Sandford club. And right now, a former Crow is trying to turn things around. We'll catch up with him shortly. A 58-year premiership drought is enough to test the patience of even the most dedicated football fan. Unfortunately, only a few ageing South Adelaide supporters can recall that 1964 Sandford flag. But former Crow Brent Riley has stepped into the role of General Manager to help bring success to the Panthers, and thanks to Bendigo Bank, he explains the challenges.
When I retired, I obviously had some recovery to do, but I had to really think about what I wanted to do when footy was finished. So I took up some business studies. It was sort of pre-COVID when I was still involved in the Crows as a development coach. And I enjoyed the coaching cape, but I didn't really see myself being a head coach. This is more of an overarching role within the football club, and something that I just thought I'd put my hand up for. It's a club that's been around for 146 years, so they've got some really, really important history. Unfortunately, we haven't won a flag for 58 years, so to come on board and try to get the club to pursue a premiership is something that really was excited me. And it was pretty busy. I came on board in October and 52% list turnover, so I had to come in and get to work pretty swiftly. The Sandford's a great competition. I think it's the second best competition in Australia by a fair way, I reckon, too. The carrot, I guess, that I could use to get these players over from interstate to play for the Panthers, and also just using the local talent and local resources that we have, the Southern Football League, the Great Southern Football League, and the KI League. Trying to get those kids out here to play for the Panthers is going to be really, really important going forward in the future. And getting #1 draft pick last year coming from the south, so and 3 others drafted that are from South Adelaide. So the club's had some really good history over the last 4 or 5 years about kids getting drafted, which should be a bit of a draw card for kids coming into play. And if they don't get drafted, then they're going to come and play here and play for a good team and a good club. The club was building up to some success and back-to-back preliminary finals, so it's almost there. We're really pushing for it this year, and it's really important that we do get that for this club and this area and our fantastic supporters. I'm really striving forward, just building the connection within the group to not only win games of football, but obviously the ultimate success is to win a premiership.
Let's hope that elusive flag is not far away. Now, this year we're inviting you to be our Crow in the crowd. So, when you attend one of our games and post a photo of yourself or someone else on social media, make sure you use the hashtag WeFlyers1. Lots of shots to choose from, but we've settled on you. Please email faceinthecrowd@afc.com.au with photo ID to claim your prize of 2 tickets to Toyota's Hilux Hill at Adelaide Oval. Once again, Matthew Nix is generously making time to answer fans' questions. And they're coming from across Australia and even overseas. This week, thanks to Flight Centre, Joshua Brewerton wants to know when we'll see Parnell and Newchurch play at AFL level.
Joshua, thanks for your question around the 2 whippets. Look, Parnell and Newchurch, they're both really exciting prospects. Doing a lot of work actually on their games, which is pleasing as a coaching group and a playing group. They're working as hard as they can. Won't be far away, I wouldn't have thought. In fact, you know, little Paddy Parnell's been playing some great footy. He's found his mojo, as we call it, and he's really started to back himself in a lot of our practice matches and our hit-outs. And Tariq Newchurch, well, look, I think he's probably going to be one of those players that, even at a higher level, he might show some really exciting stuff when there's that a little bit more predictability about ball movement. So don't be surprised if you see a couple of these guys, depending on how the team's going during this season.
Well, that's about all we have time for today. Don't forget to keep an eye on @TheCrows on Twitter for all the latest news, and check out the club's social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for your company, and together with Belinda Sloan, I look forward to joining you again next Sunday at 3 o'clock on 7. Bye for now.
This program was proudly brought to you by the new Pork Belly Deluxe Burger, only at Hungry Jack's.